Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Leadership Talks for Emerging Leaders. Leadership Talks is a podcast hosted by Leadership Card, a leadership coaching training organization. Leadership Card is the brainchild of four individuals, Kirandeep Sandhu, Ashish Datta, Ram Ramakrishnan, and Devesh Mohan, who share a common vision to support 1 million emerging leaders to solve problems for self, others, and the organization. Leadership Card runs leadership programs for individuals as well as corporate clients. Our team is very young with over 100 years of experience, and we come from diverse fields such as academics, finance, real estate, and sales. Every week on Leadership Talks, we invite leaders from varied fields and industries to share their stories and share tips and strategies which you can apply to accelerate your personal and professional growth journey. I'm your host, Kiran. I'm a leadership communication coach. And today we will be discussing about democratizing design by a non-designer. In today's episode, we have the privilege of having Mr. Nitin Kohli, a Delhi-based interior designer who has been the creative genius behind some of the most spectacular celebrity homes in the country and abroad since 1991. His academic background in economics and masters in business may not have any links to his current profession. However, his innate design sensibilities, backed by sheer talent, bring any space alive. A modernite at heart, Nitin attempts to capture the spirit of his time and engage in exciting potential that bubbles at the surface of modern India. Nitin says that Nitin Kohli home gives him the freedom and opportunity to say something about how he wants modern India and Indians to be. So first of all, thank you so much, Nitin, for being part of Leadership Talks for Emerging Leaders. Absolutely a privilege to have you here.
Thank you so much, Kiran, for having me over. And that was a wonderful introduction and a lot of information which even probably I didn't have about myself that you just gave me.
I've known you for a very long time, but I have seen so much growth, so much changes, so much potential. And I've been in awe of everything that you have done for yourself and with the community and in terms of design itself. So I'm going to now bring you to the first question that I have for you we've just talked about it, that your educational background has nothing to do with your profession. So how did you get into design? Would you be able to share with our listeners about your journey?
Yeah, so, it sounds a bit cliche to answer this question because, every time, I've answered this question and it's become like a habit for me to say now. But right from my school days, I was always inclined towards home designing. My school notebooks were scribbled with the plans and designs of my own home. So when I didn't get the subjects of my choice in school and even in college, because I went on to do economics and other masters in business, I nearly gave up hope of being a part of this industry. It was only after a couple of job interview rejections, which came my way when I went for job interviews, that I went back to the love of home designing. And that's where now, I've just landed here now.
So this was, I love that you brought this in about how these challenges and your rejections gave you the opportunity to go back to what you were passionate about, and now you've made that into your profession. So not everybody has the courage to actually deviate from the set path. We all have, we start off, we study, we do things, and the plan is we're just going to be doing those things. But you deviated and you've taken those rejections. So what really gave you the courage to go on to these uncharted paths? It is the profession and those rejections, but would you be able to talk about other stuff?
Yeah. So I think the courage is actually not like a eureka moment of finding that courage. It's not that one fine day you say, okay, fine, this is what has really inspired me, or this is what has really got into me and given me the courage. So, I made a very humble beginning, as the means for me were also limited.
Mm-hmm.
also with no formal education in the field, and I wasn't going to find myself a job, to get trained in this field anywhere. I wouldn't be getting internships. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it were those baby steps which just helped me build upon my experience, sharpen my skills. So, of course, not to forget the courage which family and friends of family always gave me. In the beginning, you always need support of your loved ones. And I think that was very, very important in my course. And I think with time, I just found the confidence to build upon it. And just to share, a very small incident with you, I still remember this was my initial years, and probably in my year one or year two, I got to do an office for an uncle of mine,
Mm-hmm.
office interiors for an uncle of mine, and he handed over an advance check of just 20,000 rupees. Now we are talking about 30 years ago, not to
Right.
forget that.
Yes.
So 20,000 rupee check. You
Mm-hmm.
would not believe how happy I was. That happiness has not come to me even today for whatever checks I get. So, it's always those small beginnings and they keep building up, and then you are where you are.
Very well put. I mean, in fact, our this whole show is about people designing from a point of view of a non-designer. You've talked about it that you didn't have any formal training. It was your rejections which pushed you
Yeah.
into going into this thing. Probably no one would even want to take that bet on you to give you that opportunity. And what you just said, that first check of 20,000. So I mean, I'm going to deviate from this question, that how did you get your first opportunity to go out there, and how did you manage to persuade someone to give you that opportunity of designing, or letting for you to explore your potential?
So I think this is where trust comes in, and
Mm,
your loved ones, like I mentioned before, your family, your friends of family, so they come in here a little bit handy. Though we've
mhm,
always heard about people saying that one should never expect work out of family and all, but I think in your initial years, friends and family do matter. So it's your
mhm.
social standing which does play an important part to give you an initial breakthrough. So I think that is what helped me at that point.
So, I mean, that's also something that, for our listeners, that yes, it's hard, but if you have your support of your family, and I know that in the year 2000, when I met you, you were about to start your company with your wife, Situ Kohli, Ferncraft. And that was also, again, back with the family. You was embarking on this new journey. Would you like to share a little bit about those initial days and how did it go?
Oh yeah. So obviously, before I got married, I did get a good amount of experience in this industry because I actually started from a very grassroots level in this industry because I had to get all the knowledge on the floor. I didn't have any academic knowledge for this. So my initial years helped me there, to gain some grassroots knowledge. And after that, I was fortunate to find Situ, who was a trained architect.
Yes.
She already had that, and then that's the time when we met you, and we decided also that between me and my wife, we decided that we are going to go ahead and open up a furniture company, more than
Right.
just doing interiors and designing, but we would open up a furniture company, and
Right.
we coined it as Ferncraft. And
Absolutely.
it's interesting, you've been a part of that journey of the first year when we launched our very first showroom,
In Gulmohar
which
Bagh in
in
Delhi.
Gulmohar Park, yes, it was in one room, and we
Uh-huh.
had a lot of designs to be displayed in that one room.
Mhm.
So, those are memories which can never fade away. And how each and everything where you also helped us paint the invitation cards. I still remember that. So, those are struggling years. You want to save money, you want to do everything yourself. You had the time to do everything yourself also.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I think it was very, very interesting where we had friends like you also who helped us.
Oh, thank you so much, Nitin, for sharing that. But I want to bring you back again that how strong you are with that family. Like even your new endeavors that you've gone into, whether it's Maka, which is Malika, your daughter, as well as Kabir, your son, and you've merged the two names together to come up with new, new lines, new collections. You've been doing it,
Yeah.
and even Sidhu's done with hers, with the Malika edit. So, would you be able to share with our viewers is what is your definition of design?
Oh,
Share a little bit
okay,
about the
so
Condor
it's a very
conversation.
controversial question when you say definition of design,
Yeah.
because it's ironical, design doesn't have a defining moment, never. So
No.
otherwise you don't have any innovations. So very controversial question, but
Right.
because design has different meanings for everyone. For those
Absolutely.
who are designing it, design might be different. For those whom we are designing, for them also the design could be a very different meaning.
Mm.
So I doubt if there is any single defining moment for design.
Mhm.
For me, as such, if one was to ask that how would I really define design? For me, what matters most is comfort. You
Mm.
know, it has to be usable. The designs have to be friendly to the users, something that they can really cherish and not complain later.
Mm.
So that's my defining moment of design.
Okay, so Nathan, would you like to elaborate a little bit more about your other endeavors? I mean, how you've translated those design elements into other businesses and opportunities around, like, for example, the Nathan Kohli home pillow talk, or your conversations, or your condo, or even your
Yeah,
cafe, which is in
yeah.
Amba. But I
So
am going to encourage all our listeners to do visit the Maka Cafe, which is in Ambawata in Delhi near Qutub Minar. It is a must-go place. So do take this opportunity and do come and say hello to Nitin when you are there. Yes.
thanks, Kiran. But just elaborating on a few points here. So obviously, Nitin Kohli Home now has a few lines where we have the Condor collection, we have the
Mhm.
Maka collection. So the difference between the Condor and the Maka collection is that the Condor collection is a simple line of furniture where we don't have too much of gloss, too many elements which interfere with each other, and it's very very user friendly, very likable kind of a range. Whereas the Maka collection is a premium collection where we go out of our, I mean, we like people to spend money, and let me put it very bluntly here that Maka is for people who really want to splurge, and it's all about luxury there. So
Okay.
these are the two top lines that we have, and the conversations is our kitchen collection. So we do kitchens, and we call it conversation because conversations do happen around the kitchen. So we gave it the name conversations,
Hmm.
and pillow talk is our wardrobe collection. So
Okay.
the different elements that we call something with which people can actually relate to.
Hmm.
And I'm glad you brought up the topic of our Cafe Maca, because now this again has been something of my passion. I'm not a trained chef, I'm nothing. But then I said, okay, fine, if it's got to be, even if I'm touching 50, so what? Let's open up a cafe and let's see how it goes. And touchwood, it's been doing well now. We are going to complete nearly 2 years for that. And that's another line which I just said, yes, yes, let's do it. So the cafe is there.
And I was just going to, when you were brought about love for food, I know that you love cooking for your friends, and that probably what,
Yeah.
again, your passion for food probably got you into doing something which is, why just my friends? Let everybody who comes is a friend, and that's the kind of
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of vibe that you give to people, that whoever comes, let me just make them part of my life. Let them be part of these conversations over coffee or over the pillow talks. So I think that's very much the kind of person that you are. So if you had to
Yes.
define
True.
Who is Nitin Kohli? Let's just go to that part of it.
Ah.
Who is Nitin Kohli?
Okay, you're getting me a little off guard here by asking me something that probably you can answer better because you've known me for over 2 decades
I
now.
already said what I think you are. because
So,
because whoever the person is what we bring out to the world. So I'm just trying to
yeah.
bring that what has actually created this persona that is you to come out into the world.
So I think I'm somebody who gets bored very easily with whatever I'm doing. And then I need to always find new passions for myself, nurture those passions. And in fact, interestingly, which nobody knows yet, I'll probably tell you here that my next passion is to actually do pottery.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
So, guys, we have another line coming up by Nitin Kohli,
Yeah.
which is pottery
So
line.
I think
Not
one
gonna
should
get
really
bored.
not.
Right.
One should not really stop oneself from doing anything that one wants to do in life. So the cafe is running, the furniture is there, and now I think it's time for some pottery. I want to make my hands work.
So I would say that the key element that is coming out from this entire conversation is that your growth is up to you, and if you want to keep growing, then keep experimenting and don't be satisfied with what you have, because I'm sure you are very satisfied. As you said, now you have a cafe, now you have a home line, you have these, so people can actually get very comfortable. But I think the growth is outside the comfort zone, and you are constantly now pushing your own comfort zone, or keep checking how much further should I go ahead with that. Am I right with that, Nitin?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
I mean, never stop at one thing. Never.
Never stop at one thing. And that again goes back to what are you passionate about. And when you shared that journey, that your passion was from your school days, right? Making those drawings, and you explored that. Your food passion brought you to the cafe, and now this new passion, which we don't know where it's come from. Maybe too many visits to Sundar Nursery have brought that up.
Yes, could be.
You
Yes.
just don't know. So that's the next element. I would also like to say that actually creative minds don't stop. They constantly find inspiration all around, and anything can trigger the next idea. And that's when Nitin said that there is no defining moment, because it's constantly evolving. I'm going to take this to one next question. Is that you've been in the industry, you were a newbie, you didn't have any formal training. We know all the challenges, but would you like to share with what are some of those key challenges or moments, like where people really, pushed you and did not, want to work with you, or something that happened, and how that has shaped you into the person that you're today?
So, Kiran, telling you really, my struggles and challenges were there for many years. Like I said, starting from no formal education, no experience of working in a design office, having limited resources to begin with also, which meant I had to work against competition that was educated in this field, competition from experienced leaders of the industry, and also against those who had all the financial means, to start a new business with a bang. And none of that existed for me. But then all these became my strength. I had to take strength from all these. I had to work harder than most of them. And so I think where I am today, which gave me tremendous stamina, and strength, I would say, just to work hard, to achieve what I wanted to achieve. So the struggles were real. I'll never deny that. There were real struggles. Contrary to what people might think, that, I have such a beautiful establishment today, Touchwood, that is doing well. But, my struggles were really hard, and they were really real.
They were real, and all of us have a story, and it's generally the struggles which nobody sees, and they always look at what we have right now and start making a perception about what the person is. Very well put.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to take it forward. Like, I mean, Nathan, you've been part of many celebrity homes in India as well as your clients from, global clients. You're constantly traveling. You love, working with people. So
Yeah.
now over here, I'm sure when you started, I remember we were alone. It was you, Situ, me. We were all in this office doing things ourselves. But today you have a team that is working with you and they play an important role in your success journey. So, how do you create a sustainable, positive environment, which is also very stressful because you're constantly working against deadlines? So, how do you create a positive environment so which facilitates your team to be more resilient so that they can deliver?
Very, very difficult to achieve that. And
Mm-hmm.
I must say that, but it has a very simple answer. It's humility.
Hmm.
You got to be nice to people who work with you.
Mm-hmm.
So the important part here is that you just have to make people work with you. You have to make people work with you and not for you. That
Okay.
is what is important. You need to work as a team. You don't have to be have an air about yourself that, okay, fine, I'm at top of the pyramid. No, nothing like that ever exists. You are never on top of the pyramid. So if you're nice to people, they will pay you back in whatever you are looking for. And I would never hesitate in imparting with knowledge to those who worked with me in office. In fact, there have been a few who worked with me in the office who were not even from this industry. I have
Just like
had many people just like me. I mean, they were looking for a break. They were looking for something different, and trust me, my heart goes out to them because I have a similar background. So I don't really care if people are from the industry, they're not from the industry. I want to grab them. They have to have the zeal, the zest to just go for it, you know. But at the same time, currently I know a few, they're doing wonderfully well for themselves, even though they've probably moved on from my office now. So God bless them. And, it's nice, but be simple, be calm, and that's what really counts.
I imagine now from that's very true. But and when I meant a team, I know, Nitin, that being in this industry, especially the furniture interior industry, you're dealing with the karigars, you're dealing with your own design stuff, and there's constant stress, challenges, timelines that you're meeting, and so when we look at all these things, yes, we have to be humble. But
Yeah.
how do we create a culture where we can get them to deliver on time?
So let's not get confused
Indian
here
also knows
because
sometimes that oh, ho jayega that way. I'll
yeah,
get it done.
yeah. So there's a difference between being humble and
Hmm.
getting work done.
Right.
Now, humbleness doesn't mean that you don't have to show them okay, sab kuch is okay. No, that's not the attitude. That's not the attitude that we want. That okay, fine, things will happen on their own, and still I will not say anything to you. No, you got to deliver. It's a very stressful line. All this glamour, what we see in the design industry, whether it's fashion or home design, wherever, that's what people see it as a glamorous line. No, the back end is very, very stressful. Like you rightly said, we got to deal with all kinds of karigars, educated people, non-educated people, skilled karigars, unskilled karigars, and it's so human resource. It's driven by human resource. This industry that things can go wrong at any moment. So obviously we
Mhm.
have our points where we just blow off the lid, but at the end of it, if by the evening you can sit together with your people, make them
Yeah.
understand nicely, politely, okay, you've had your firing moments with them, but at the end of the day you need to sit down with them, explain to them, and be friends with them. You can achieve a lot more out of them then, a
And
lot
I think
more.
keep bringing them back to that vision and re-sharing with them that
Yes.
this is what we want to be doing. So I think
Very
that
true.
getting the
Yes.
team back into alignment is constantly, yes, it's struggle for a leader as a boss, but if we are able to, it's fine sometimes if it happens where you're constantly, the heat gets to you, but
Yeah.
it is okay. But you have to bring the team back onto the table, that everything is negotiable. Let's get back, let's get it sorted, because we are a team and we are all
Exactly.
on the same path. Yeah. So
Exactly.
that, yeah, very well put. I'm now going to bring you back to the last question. In fact, Nitin, we are reaching I mean, we had so much fun. I'm sure our listeners are going to take so many takeaways from this. But now you are someone again who was not from the industry. You took that plunge, you got into the industry. You also shared some of the challenges that people in this industry have, faced, whether they are, whether it's the carriers or artisan, whatever. So, or people who know, or even your clients were difficult. So,
Yeah.
what would be your advice to people who want to switch careers or want to start in this industry? What would be your advice to them?
Oh, follow your dream immediately. Don't waste time at all. You know, yeah. I mean, actually, Kiran, today there's a Pandora of possibilities because of the internet. We
Mm,
need to learn from the what do they call them, boomers or Gen Z or whatever they are called now. We actually
yeah.
need to learn from them because they have so many more careers to look at. Initially during our times we had very limited careers, and this field was always looked down upon. Ke isne to padhai likhai kari nahi, so that is why he's got into this profession. That was
Exactly.
the attitude. I still
Absolutely.
remember there was a Hindi movie. I think Preeti Zinta was acting in it, and there was a comment कि हाँ, she did nothing, and that is why now she's an interior designer. You know,
Imagine. And
so
now
that
the
was the
interior
attitude.
designers are the
That was the
most sought
attitude.
after people.
Exactly. I mean, why look down upon any work? And I'm glad we are living in an era now where the young generation, people who are now in school also, I would say people who are just about 11, 12 onwards, they have a choice of different careers to make from. So they need to follow their dreams. They need to weigh their pros and cons. Okay, fine, what is good, what is bad. That's where probably an experienced person can always guide them. And I think another very important factor can be that never let multiple failures be a setback for you. There are always going to be downfalls, there are always going to be something or the other, but you need to bounce back. So keep walking and you're going to get to your destination. I mean, it's a very old saying, but you need to keep walking. That's what I believe in.
I think those are, I would say, jewels of wisdom that you've shared with our listeners today, especially for people who are not from the industry and want to probably come into the industry, or someone
Yeah.
who is being rejected. So it's not that that's the dead end. Go back to what you're passionate about, and that's where you will find tremendous growth, because here you're then not working for the job, you're working for what you love. And I think that's brilliantly put forward by Nitin Kohli today.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I
much,
just
Nitin,
want
for
to add one more point.
absolutely. Yes,
One last point for people who really are, I would say, are looking for guidance also.
yes.
Look for guidance within yourself. Don't go to these new age gurus. They are just collecting herds. They're just
Right,
preaching the herds. Look at
right.
your inner voice, listen to your inner voice, do what you want to do. Don't listen to any of these new age gurus. That's it.
Very well put. I would say if you really need advice, maybe you can reach out to Nitin. He is available on Instagram.
Make me into a
Put him a
guru.
message if
Huh?
there's advice. Yeah, but I would just say that those are true words. Look inside,
Yeah.
because you have all the answers. You don't need someone to tell you what you are capable of doing. If you can find your inner voice, your inner passion, you are unstoppable. And I think that Nitin has very well put
Perfect.
it. Yeah, and with that, I would like to say thank you to Nitin Kohli for joining us on Leadership Talks. We will be back next week with another leader to share their journey. For more information, join our Facebook, which is on Leadership Card, Our website is www.leadershipcar.com. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts. With that, this is me and Nitin Kohli signing off for today.